Hello, welcome to this edition of Market Watch, brought to you by EnergyBin, the leading B2B exchange for PV hardware resale. I'm Melissa Schmid, the marketing manager at EnergyBin, and I'm joined by my colleagues Rob Van Dimmeltrot and Thomas Hennessy, who are experts at connecting buyers and sellers of wholesale solar equipment. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us, Melissa.
Thanks, Melissa.
Today, we're chatting about resale trends within the secondary market based on activity we're seeing on the EnergyBin exchange and from our latest report, the PV Module Price Index. This second annual report tracks pricing and availability of crystalline silicon modules listed for resale on EnergyBin. To download the PV Module Price Index, visit our website at energybin.com or check the show notes of this video. From surplus to clearance to project leftovers and asset liquidations, there are a number of instances that lead a solar company to resell modules, inverters, batteries, and other hardware in the secondary market. Perhaps the main reason why individuals seek out resale solutions is asset recovery, as equipment that falls out of primary channels may be new or used, and in many cases is not ready for recycling. These goods can be remarketed in the secondary market. Our goal during this conversation is to provide sellers with trends and strategies that will guide you in remarketing options. Additionally, buyers will glean tips for finding deals and sourcing replacement parts in the secondary market. Rob and Thomas, you spend your days consulting solar companies on buying and selling PV hardware in the secondary market. What's the word on the street from EnergyBin members regarding supply chain shortages and overall equipment availability in 2023?
Great question. Hey,
Yeah.
Thomas, do you want to start this off?
I can take that one, Rob. I think we're still seeing PV equipment shortages in the US and that may be slowing the rate of PV installations. I think Rob and I are still hearing about project delays and cancellations. And in some of these cases, it's because companies cannot find the material that they need on time. So I think the market's still sorting itself out. We're still seeing messages from buyers on EnergyBin.
And you mentioned the US, but I would think that Europe is also a hot market right now that is in great demand for supply. What's the word from Europe?
Well, let me jump in here real quick, Thomas. Obviously, there's a conflict going on over there. What we're hearing quite a bit is people obviously are looking to get away from that grid, the dependency on Russian oil or Russian natural gas. And so they're looking for alternative energies. And actually, the European market is probably more developed than the overall North American market, with exception of the southern parts of the United States. So we're hearing more of that. And we're getting the inquiries from Europe organically because they're finding us. I think the challenge we have is getting people to put out their needs, more of their needs out there, because we're so, I think would it be safe to say because we started here in North America, most of the traffic we see and the needs are from North America, Thomas?
I would agree with that, but I think things are starting to change there, at least this past year.
Yeah, and I think we have data that supports that as well. Per the PV Module Price Index, solar modules for resale on EnergyBin have increased fourfold in Q1 of 2023 over Q1 of 2022. What are some common reasons why solar companies choose to resell modules on the exchange?
Well, Thomas, I'm going to jump in on this one. I think it really comes down to, Melissa, it's opportunity. There's a huge market for used panels out there. And there's actually, from what Thomas said earlier, this whole secondary market isn't just about used product. It's about a supply chain alternative. When it comes to used panels, they have a 40 to 50 year lifespan. Obviously not going to be as efficient, as they were when they're new, but those panels can be repurposed in other areas or off-grid or agricultural purposes, and it's a viable solution or a viable alternative than having to destroy them or simply recycle them. And I think what people are discovering is that opportunity, that it's becoming a revenue stream for them. So it's an opportunity to offset the new cost for the new distributors or new developers who want to do a new project, or I should say repower their old project. It's an opportunity for people to find a revenue stream, whereas they used to be, in fact, instead of having to pay someone to recycle them or take these away, they're finding there's an opportunity that they can make a bit of money. And EnergyBin is the perfect place to do that.
Ooh, I love how you said that, Rob, and we'll talk more about used modules and specifically later on in this conversation. And just for our listeners, I want to point out that the EnergyBin resale exchange actually holds 91% of new modules, most of which are under warranty, and then 9% of used modules. Now that ratio can change as the secondary market really picks up. When we just had a member post a want to sell broadcast for used LG panels that were not that they're out of date or that they're replacing them, but that the building they were actually installed on is getting demolished. So that owner of that system wants to, again, look to asset recovery for those LG modules, which most of us know LG left the solar equipment or solar manufacturing business last June, I believe. So these are in hot supply right now, or hot demand, I should say, especially for replacement parts and whatnot. But before we get into more of the used module discussion, what other equipment besides modules are you seeing posted on for resale on EnergyBin these days?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Rob. I think it's a good question. I think we see a variety of equipment on EnergyBin. I know that inverters are in high demand right now. And it seems like some weeks I see more posts for inverters than I do for modules. And I'm also noticing lots of three-phase inverters. And we have companies looking for batteries and storage solutions too. Um, we've seen some interesting posts this last month. I know one of our members posted some Tesla mega packs for sale, which I had never seen before on EnergyBin, so that was interesting. And then we see other miscellaneous equipment too. I mean, another company posted a solar battery hand truck for sale. I saw some Soladeck end plates and terminal blocks for sale recently. So it's not just limited to solar modules.
Refurbished solar modules and inverters are, as we mentioned, also being posted for resale on EnergyBin. In fact, in terms of the share of used modules, it actually increased from 4% to 9% from 2021 to 2022. Again, this is data from our PV module price index, which you can download on our website at energybin.com. And I would also point out in Q1 of this year, nearly 30,000 secondhand modules have been posted for resale already. These numbers point to more and more decommissioning projects from modules, which modules are deemed to have resale value. Would you, Rob and Thomas, comment on what options installers and even asset owners have to resell secondhand material?
I think I maybe have touched base on it a little bit earlier, but it's really a great opportunity to expand your downline, because it will cost you money to recycle this equipment. And again, there's an emerging secondhand market here, not just a secondary market, but for these used equipments. They're the hottest demand things we see and the fastest moving things that we see on the platform when someone posts them and they move. And there's many examples, specific examples. The biggest back in, I think, probably 2022 was 51 megawatts of used panels being moved fairly quickly. And that resulted, instead of a $250,000 or $750,000, $1 million recycling cost, to more of a $6 million revenue stream for them. And in that repowering project, that's quite a bit of money to offset the new build for that developer or that client. I mean, there's just so much opportunity there that I want people to be aware of. And nowadays, there's emerging companies who are doing recertifying. They're taking panels and recertifying them. They're taking inverters and repairing them and recertifying them, putting them back in the market. There is a huge opportunity for you guys to take advantage of those opportunities.
That is so true. And I would add too that many of the value-added service providers who specialize in testing and inspection and appraisals and the like prefer that asset owners actually contact them before you decommission the project, because they can inspect them at a much higher level of accuracy when the system is still hooked up and in operation. And some of them even add on those value-added services of, hey, you know, we'll go ahead and decommission it, we'll package it up and ship it out, you know, we'll offer you a cash buyout right on site. So contact us if you need to get in touch with these companies who are doing this work today. It's a great help. And then, so let's switch gears now. Those are people who are looking to sell. What about tips for buyers who are looking for deep discount deals, either new or used hardware, or hard to find replacement parts, especially as both of you know, many systems that are aging are built with hardware pieces that the manufacturers are out of business now, or even if they are in business still, they don't make that model anymore, whether it's an inverter or a module or whatnot. What options do buyers have for these two different scenarios, deep discount deals and hard to find replacement parts?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll
Great
take
question. Go ahead. I'll let you start, Thomas. I'm sorry.
I'll take that one, Rob. I think as a buyer, if you need a hard to find replacement part, or if you're open to finding better pricing, I think that the easiest thing to do is to send out a want to buy broadcast through EnergyBin. And for those of you who aren't familiar with EnergyBin or what that is, a broadcast is just a mass email. So we have hundreds of solar companies on EnergyBin, and when you send out a broadcast, it's something that you can do when you have needs on the buying side, which is unique. And there's not too many places where you can do that, but you're essentially just sending your message out to everyone on our network, and you can quickly reach everybody. And I think the broadcasts work very well. They're meant to save you time. And we have an RFQ broadcast feature too, so you can send that out to, you know, if you were just looking to gather pricing information. So that's what they're there for. I think that's where I'm seeing most companies finding the best deals. And when you need a hard to find replacement part, you have to send your message out there. You have to let companies know what you need, because chances are somebody has it. Somebody has it. They may not already have it posted on EnergyBin yet, but you know, they'll see your message and they'll contact you if they can help. So
Yeah, and I'll just add on a few key findings we found from the PV module price index. One was seasonality. Just watching EnergyBin resale trends, it did seem like in Q4 and in Q1, for that extent, that there was an increased supply posted, but also greater discounts, mainly for those companies that are looking to unload their inventory before new shipments come in for the next year. Many companies who either have project cancellations or downgrades or whatever it may be, where they just want to move out this equipment, liquidate their assets, they're willing to let it go at very low costs or like at cost. So in that regard, the secondary market is just like the primary market. You need to keep a tab on pricing and availability, which means someone needs to be keeping a regular eye on the data and what's available. Now, Thomas and Rob, I often hear you recommend to companies to upload their inventory to the EnergyBin platform and send a want to sell broadcast email. Would you explain the benefit of doing both? And would you briefly show us how to complete these actions on EnergyBin?
yes, I wanted to take this one, Rob. So I'll
Oh,
share my screen so I can show how it works.
cool. Thank you.
I'm just going to quickly go over the broadcast and the inventory feature. So right now I'm just logged in as a broker bin account, our sister company. So this is the home page. To send a broadcast, you can hover over this broadcast tab and you'll click send in the drop down menu. And I'll show how to do a want to buy. You can click this want to buy box, and you have to click two boxes here. So I'll show a single part. This looks the same when you're selling equipment. So this is a quick and easy broadcast message you fill out. You categorize your post, part number, manufacturer. And then when your message goes out, you're going to reach everybody on the network. So this is always where I would start when you have needs as a buyer. And I think sellers do a pretty good job of broadcasting too.
Simple
They
enough.
know it. Yep. And then for inventory postings, a lot of companies don't know how to post inventory. It's something it's I want you to think about it like there's two ways that you can sell. And same thing when you're buying. We have companies posting inventory and companies broadcasting. So there's multiple ways to do it. You can go to manage up top and then inventory in the drop down. There's a quick and easy way to add manually here. And then you can go to upload, and this is just line item by line item. This upload tab here, it shows you an example. There's an Excel spreadsheet. Really all we need are these column headers in red. They don't have to be in this order, but that way our system can pull from your Excel spreadsheet or your document. You can upload it manually on your own here if you'd like, or we can even set it up for auto uploading. So it uploads every day, or we can set that increment however often you want to. So I think it's important to do this because a lot of times when buyers are searching, they use this search bar up top. It's an elastic search, so you can search by part number. A lot of times companies will search by wattage or by brand. So just as an example, if I was a buyer and I searched in 400 watt, you want your inventory to show up in this 22 items blue tab. This is all inventory the companies have sent. So, for example, if I was a buyer and I saw solar cells inventory where they have this Solaria Power XT module here. If I wanted a quote, I would click here and then go to RFQ, and this pulls up an email. You can send them an email through EnergyBin. So you want them to be able to find you in as many places as possible. This will show broadcast too. It doesn't have to be by watt. You can do by brand as well. But and then once you post your inventory, I wish I had an example to show. Maybe we'll save that for the next webinar, Melissa. But there's a stats column that will show up on the right here where you have inventory posted, and you can see who's been searching for your product, or even months before you joined. So I think that's a really neat tool where you can find leads, and I have other sellers where that's helped them find new companies to sell to. Rob, do you have anything there? I know it
Yeah,
was kind of
I do.
long-winded.
I do want to add I think the biggest question, and follow along with me, Thomas, because I'm going to have you click on things. The reason you want to post your inventory, the reason you want to post a broadcast, so people can see it. I think what happens on our platform, people come to the platform and they go up on top there where it says search items, data sheets, and they type in something that they're looking for. If it's an inverter, or if it's, for example, that 400 watt panel. And then of course they're looking for matches. They're looking for the manufacturers. They're looking for the right part keys. If you're not posting inventory, they won't see you at all. Now, the same thing with broadcast. If you hover over the word broadcast and click on view, Thomas, once you send the broadcast to want to sell, this is what it looks like on the platform. But keep in mind, it is an email out there. And probably the biggest thing that we get from companies as we tour people or as they're looking at the platform, oh, I didn't find it. And the reason they didn't find it is because someone didn't broadcast it, or they have not, we give you the option. If you can't find it, put out the want to broadcast. It's that back to that opportunity. You have to let people know what you're looking for. If you want to find what you're looking for if you want to find a partner for some of your excess, you have to let people know you have it. So if I'm a mainstream distributor, why do I want to post my inventory? Because I want to show up when people are searching for anything. Will it be an exact match? Well, possibly not, but at least it gives me the opportunity for that phone call so I can develop that opportunity or potentially that relationship. Yeah, were they looking for a panel? But like I said earlier, they're going to need inverters. They're going to need metering equipment. They're going to need racking. Those are all opportunities for you to develop this relationship. This business is about relationships, right? And most businesses are. As you develop your relationships, you're going to go back to that well, just like your current distributors. We're not trying to take away from that. Again, we're trying to give you an opportunity to meet some great partners. If you're in the operations, a maintenance side, you got to put it out there. If you're on a new build side, if you're on a repowering side, you just have to put that out there. If it's the want to sell, for sure, for a seller, both posting and broadcasting. Obviously, the want to buys, that way people can see it and they can come to you. Does that make sense?
Great.
Great point,
Thank
Rob.
you, Rob.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. I think that's actually a perfect segue into my last question, which is all about solar equipment brokering, because I feel like these days it's more and more companies are looking for opportunities to diversify their revenue portfolios. And one big opportunity within the secondary market is solar equipment brokering. Would you explain what solar equipment brokering is and give advice for realizing success in this role?
Yeah, let me start with this one, Thomas. Solar brokering is really finding equipment out there and finding a customer for that equipment, a potential buyer for that equipment, and in some cases, never potentially even taking possession of that equipment or having that equipment have to ship through your yard first, especially when it comes to used product. And with this repowering that we're hearing about in these examples we used earlier, where some organization, their PPE agreement is up, or there's new net metering, or whatever the decision was made to remove this equipment. Thomas made an example that the building is closed, or I have an example from an organization. It's a school district that's expanding, and all these rooftop parking solar fields or solar garages were having to be moved because they were using that space. Well, what do you do with that old equipment? Again, you can recycle it, which will cost money. In this case, this I guess it would be a demolition contractor didn't know what to do with it. You can put it on eBay, but keep in mind they're going to charge you quite a percentage, and you don't know who you're dealing with. You're selling it, and you're going to get best clientele, the best dollars by selling to wholesale professionals on EnergyBin. So in this case, really, we had one gentleman out of California who agreed to take this product, and he actually took this product and shipped it directly to his buyer, packaged it and shipped it to his buyer without having the possession. So in this case, he did very little, with exception of use his connections and used his relationships he's developed through EnergyBin to find a home for that. And as a broker, he found and he discovered he made some money. And I have other examples. Two examples I'm going to think of off the top of my head is, one is a broker on the platform comes from managing a warehouse in the solar industry and dealing with excess. Discovered that, boy, reselling this old stuff could be very profitable, and he's now started his own and took it to the next level and been very successful for the last 5-6 years doing it that way. Another newer example is one of my longtime contacts from the technology trading industry, the sister company of EnergyBin, BrokerBin, who's very knowledgeable about trading. And he was very interested in solar. And he's one of these individuals who's willing to take any panels that you have used. If you're willing to drop them off, he'll take them. Now, if it's larger containers or if it's pallet loads, he'll have his trucks come out there and get them. And he's made that a bit of the transaction, I should say, from technology to solar, because he's finding it so easy to find partners, to help them take these used panels. And those are just two examples, and there's many more But there's definitely a huge opportunity if you think in those terms of not just having to install, but also the revenue opportunities of being available for these other organizations that need to get rid of their old stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, those are great examples. I love the success stories, and we've published some of them in article format on our website under our resources tab. Please go and check those out at your leisure. And also, I mean, Thomas made it look so easy for whoever you are, an installer, even an EPC or a distributor, to go and repost equipment for resale on EnergyBin. So consider it just an extra 5 minutes of money-making time. Wrapping it up, I want to thank you, Rob and Thomas, for your insights and keeping us up to date with secondary market trends. For viewers, if you'd like to talk one-on-one with Rob or Thomas about your solar hardware buy-sell needs, reach out to us at energybin.com. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more tips for buying and selling wholesale solar equipment on the secondary market. And from the entire EnergyBin team, we wish you success in your efforts to advance solar energy. Thank you for all you do, and thanks for watching.
Thank you, everybody.